Yeah, two of the best featherweights in Ireland, one head-to-head.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next bout of the evening is a featherweight championship contest. Please welcome your first fighter making the walk to the cage, fighting out of the blue corner, Gerard Ryan!
What tune is this?
Do you not know it? Triple H, time to play the game.
I wouldn't have been a big WWE fan, but sick walkout.
Paul, what do you make of the walkout song?
This one?
Yeah, Triple H.
I'm a fan, absolutely. We see some good ones and some bad ones in MMA, but tonight we haven't had any many men by 50 Cent, and we haven't had any zombie by the Cranberries, so...
Not yet.
Touch wood, we're going strong here. I think sometimes fighters just do that to me to annoy me because they know I've complained about it publicly a few times.
Brian Manning might walk out to many men.
It's very possible,
We're obviously moving on now with the bout, but just want to go back to that last performance by Taylor Heffernan. Really impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Really impressive. To come back off that very difficult first round.
Like almost finished with a rear naked choke, stayed calm as you pointed out, just chilled out, relaxed, saw out the round, and then clocked his opponent and finished the fight. That's what a real fighter is made of, eh?
100%, and he's great on the mic, jeez,
he loves it. He came in prepared for that one, didn't he?
He was looking all around for Barry.
That's the type of thing, though, that brings a fighter kind of, you know, to levels that other fighters don't get to. You know, when you have a marketable personality further down the line, that can really help when you go into the top end of the amateur game or even professional level.
I couldn't agree anymore.
Here we go. This one is a cracker of a featherweight title fight. Jake Ngai probably going to be the longer, taller fighter here.
And Jake and Ngai coming off a long layoff, didn't fight since February this year. Meanwhile, Gerard Ryan picking up a IUR belt in March and defending it in September.
He's won 3 of his last 4, so he'll be coming in here confident. We mentioned in the pre-show, like he lost a handful. It was his first 4 or 5 fights, his first 4, but he's won 3 of his last 4, so he's found his way to get the victories as a mixed martial artist, and it's this pressure he loves to bring, and especially in the wrestling exchanges, once he gets a hold of opponents, that's where he really shines. But
Jake is doing well to keep moving though, and not spending too long in one place. But it does seem that
Jake Knight can hip throw. He's going to roll under and look for a leg lock, and you know what? He's not far off this. He's on a knee bar. He's sitting back, and he's going to try and get the belly driving down. But
There's one of look to come out the back door, take the back.
he's just got the angle slightly off. Gerard Ryan doing a great job defensively here.
Pulling that knee out now. You've got to pass the hip line, so it looks difficult to control.
Did a great job of scrambling there, Gerard Ryan, and he's on a front headlock position now on Jake Ngai. Chin strap, bread basket even. There's a lot of options here. He's flicking through the book of tricks. Jake Ngai, lovely sweep there, and Ryan did well just to adjust and come back to his feet before he ended up on his backside.
Great scramble there from the two lads.
Ngai is a really dangerous grappler who will happily go to his back, which you don't see a lot of in mixed martial arts. He's looking for that leg again, thinking knee bar over and over again. Trying to spin underneath. There's options here, there's back takes.
And it's an interesting decision from Gerard to shoot for the takedown, with Jake being such a submission specialist. It's a dangerous game.
He's obviously confident that he can shut it down, and you know what, a few hammer fists usually do the job.
Exactly, that was a nice one there.
I love jiu-jitsu, but if someone can punch me in the face, I don't like being underneath them, you know.
And Gerard is doing a good job of staying heavy, not allowing Jake to kind of walk around and
He's distributing his weight well and adjusting to everything, every transition that Jake Ngai tries to make. And Ngai scrambles and still Ryan sprawls and stays on top. Really good balance. He's just surfing the waves here. But Ngai comes out to the back. And look at the speed at which he got that hook in. He's weaved through to the opposite leg now, but he's going to run out of time before taking the back. Couple of knees there. Close round here, but I think Jake Ngai might just have landed enough to nick it on the judges' scorecards.
Yeah, very close round there.
That's the kind of round I would have liked to see a bit more of a 5-minute one, right? There was a lot going on there. And
well, that's what I mentioned earlier. Sometimes the grappling can take a bit longer for it to really play out and someone to establish something or maybe work an opening to go on the attack from there. Sometimes you got to really move a few pieces on the chessboard to set up those killer shots.
And it seemed like Jake was just trying to figure out some submission that he could get off, and Gerard was doing a good job for the most part of just keeping his weight distributed right and landing some nice hammer fists in the meantime.
Yeah, when someone is trying to do that and they're trying to swim underneath and play that sort of jiu-jitsu heavy style game, you can't really land blows if they're moving. You got to kind of get them sitting still. But Ryan was doing a great job, like you said, of sprawling and surfing and just keeping good balance on top. You know, it's like that bucking bronco. You know, you just gotta make sure you don't fall off, because if you fall off, you end up on bottom, and that's when you're the one eating punches. Yeah,
and Keith Keogh in Jake and Guy's corner, one of the best featherweight amateur fighters in Ireland, of course. One knows a professional now.
Alexander O'Sullivan and Keith Keogh, two of the most decorated amateurs the country has seen. Now both young professionals.
Through that kick blind, Gerard kind of see it coming and move out of the way of it. Nice lean back.
Yeah, I think he's trying to just stay way out of striking range or out of the gripping range of Gerard Ryan, but it can be difficult to land your own shots if you're too far out.
Definitely so. And Jake's doing a good job of mixing up the strikes, but when he disengages, he does lift himself up quite high.
There's a nice clinch. Ryan gets one arm around the back. Is he going to get the body lock? No, look at Ngai, just dives to the ground again. Something you don't see a lot of in MMA. Trying to swim underneath. It could be calf slicer options, leg lock options.
Jake Ngai throwing up kicks. A nice position to be throwing the up kick, but Gerard holding onto that leg now after getting...
He's lose that to get a sweep. That was lovely work, that 50-50 position. And now he's landing shots on top. Now, they're not big ones, but they're going to be enough to distract your opponent. Gerard Ryan had the underhook there.
Jake takes mount.
Transition to the mount, just beautiful from Ngai, because he was about to give up his back and he just went back the other direction.
Jake Ngai just doesn't stop moving, right? He's very active off his back and looking to transition and improve his position as he goes.
Ryan's doing a good job of just getting his knees back inside and taking the mount position away from Jake Ngai. Jake trying to just surf his way over that butterfly hook. You see him try to go one way, then the other, but Ryan just making it tricky for him. There's got to be adjustments to your jiu-jitsu game when punches become involved. Do you know what? He's cinching up on the neck here. It might be a north-south choke even, but he just can't seem to get the grip.
Both fighters are good at just not allowing their opponent to get set with anything, right? They're just constantly looking to move.
Yeah, they're nullifying each other's attempts here. So Ryan tries to wrestle up, and Ngai is killing those options, and then he tries to establish anything. Ryan is great at just getting something back in between him and his opponent. And now he hits a sweep. Excellent work.
Knee on belly, looking to land some strikes here, I'd say, but again, Jake just not allowing him to set.
Yeah, he inverts again, and
yeah, Jake just doesn't stop, keeps constantly rolling for stuff. Just never stops moving.
The issue is you can get exposed here, you can get pinned, and some shots can come down like this, but he's doing a good job so far of avoiding any damage. And now he's got an extension on that knee bar. It's just not deep enough, unfortunately. Again, a really close round.
Yeah. Both rounds are hard to call, really.
On my card, I think Ngai have just nicked him both rounds, but I mean, for a very, very close fight, he could be 2 rounds up.
But you're seeing a lot more versatility from Ngai, right? He's doing a bit more, whereas...
that little bit more attacking, yeah. And like not big damaging blows, but maybe enough shots coming down in comparison to going in the other direction.
And even though nothing was close to being finished necessarily, he did have some submission attempts that were on.
I do think round 1 could be scored differently, as Jake was on his back a lot of round 1, but very close round. Like.
Could be all up for grabs here, and
Jake looking to fresher fighter. He's on the feet here between rounds. Gerard taking the stool. Personally, I think fighters should take the stool. Get as much rest as you can.
Honest, no, I used to never do it. I used to always feel like, nah, sure, like, if you training for 2 hours a night, standing up. I used to think psychologically, if I got put down, it was for being, you know, something put me down.
Yeah. True.
oh, a little hook kick, beautiful work.
Oh, lovely body kick from Gerard. Nice single from Jake.
The timing of the entry was excellent.
Very nice.
Very effective. Drew the strike out of his opponent, ducked under, took the leg. He's committed to this guillotine.
Yeah. Really is committed. Does he have anything? No. Jake's up.
Oh, he reverses him beautifully. A little scramble for position. He's going to try and take the back, but he's just sliding down a little. Too low to get the hooks, but
Gerard's looking to turn into him here.
Ngai did a great job here, just kicking the base out from underneath, and that's allowed him to maybe get at least back onto his knees and climb up to the top position if he can, and he does so.
Yeah, great work from Jake up against the fence.
Very intelligent grappling, and again, just that little bit low with the hook coming in.
Like to see a few pot shots here up against the cage.
Seems to be looking to keep that hands clasped, but Gerard again looking to just turn into him the second they hit the floor, not allowing Jake to set.
These are just some difficult scrambles because, like I mentioned earlier, you sometimes don't know where you're going to end up when you try to roll underneath someone like that. Yeah. He tries to wrestle up and switches back the other way. Brilliant work from Jake Ngai. Nice little misdirection, and then...
Yeah, and Jake's starting to wear a bit on Gerard here in late in round 3.
Just looks to be that half a step ahead in some of the exchanges and transitions.
I'd agree with just that little bit ahead. But it's a very competitive fight. I mean, the lads...
If you get separated here and someone lands a couple of big shots, it can be enough to win the round. There's not... The transitions have been lovely, but there hasn't been much of impact. But now, with a little grip on that neck, Jake Ngai might be able to threaten a submission. He's lost Gerard Ryan a little. Trying to go for that back take, and he's an aggressive grappler. I love to see it, but it looks nicer when you can actually get a solid pinch on some submission attempts.
It's been non-stop action. I'd love to see the lads go at it again, to be honest. I'd love to watch another round.
Is he looking at a boogie choke? He is. He's pinching up on a boogie choke attempt here, but I don't think he's got it tight. Gerard Ryan has him locked and smashes his way out.
Especially with someone who's strong like Gerard Ryan, not allowing him to get the...
Let's see if Gerard land a few shots here, potentially steal the round. A few big shots.
No, he rolls underneath again, thinks one more time about this knee bar attempt, and gets that leg isolated again, but he's not going to get the extension he wants.
Hands up on top. Just trying to turn into him.
Big knee to the body, lovely work. There we go, what a 3 rounds. We saw some exceptional scrambles here.
Well done from both lads. Hard one to call, that one.
Yeah, very tough one to call.
I imagine there will be a rematch, whatever the show, because it was just a very competitive match, and for the title, I mean, I don't think anyone who watched that fight would say they don't want to see it again.
Maybe a 5-round rematch.
Wouldn't be,
5-rounder.
Wouldn't be a bad show, as I said. It felt like that was just very close.
Look, Jake, or Gerard's there with his other belt. Looking to become double champ.
Yeah, like when Gerard to try and like go on to the next one again, he gets went for something for like 10-20 seconds and
Let's see what the judges think.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to your judges' scorecards for decision. The judges have scored this bout 29-28, 30-27, and 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision. And now, the inaugural EFC Featherweight Champion, Jake Ngai!
Great fight, great performance.
Great fight. As I said, it wouldn't be a bad rematch.
Yeah.
Jake is just very active with the jiu-jitsu, with transitions and submission attempts.
That could be what swayed the judges, the submission attempts.
Yeah, again, I think that was the most significant thing that happened, right? There was a few strikes there at the end of the last round from Gerard. That was probably the most significant shots that were thrown throughout the fight. But all later grappling exchanges, Jake Ngai was coming over on top really.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with the EFC Featherweight Champion, Jake Ngai. Jake, you had, I think, 8 fights in 2023, but you only had 1 this year. It's been quite a while since we've seen you in action. How good does it feel to be back in the cage?
It feels amazing to be finally back in the cage. You know, as you said, I've been out for most of this year. I only had that 1 fight. Cage actually title fight at the start of the year. And I just had a few personal things I had to deal with over the year, so that kind of like had to take me out of line for a bit. But yeah, I just wanted to come back and really, like, you know, dust off the ring rust and stuff. And Gerard was a lot tougher than I expected. He really brought a good fight, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to fight the best guys, you know, in the country, even outside the country, obviously in the world, at the IMAC and stuff, and get myself ready for pro.
Well, congratulations on a great win. It's brilliant to see you back in action. Ladies and gentlemen, Jake Ngai!